Goldstone Ghosts, written on the 24th of April 1997 before our last ever home match at the Goldstone, where we knew we had to win and win the final game at Hereford if we had any chance of staying in the league. Our ground had already been sold. We ended up at Gillingham for 2 years and then crappy old athletic stadium called Withdean for another 12 before we got to Falmer, where we've been playing ever since. And we've gone from bottom of the Football League, 92nd, with one game to go, to 7th in the Premier League. This is called Goldstone Ghosts. The second to last verse is fundamental. As bulldozers close in upon our old beloved home, and those who stand to profit rub their hands, so we gather here together in sad, angry disbelief, and for one last time our voices fill the stands. This is no happy parting, but a battle-scarred farewell, though victory hopes are mingled with the tears, and I, like you, will stand here as the final whistle blows, with memories which echo down the years. The Chelsea fans threw pennies, old ones, sharpened. I was 8, the target in the South Stand with my dad, and he got rather battered as he held me close and tight, and confirmed my view that Chelsea fans were mad. And there, on those old wooden seats, I learned to love the game. The sights and sounds exploded in my head. My dad was proud to have a son with football in his blood, but 2 short years later, he was dead. 11. I went on my own. My friends liked chess and stuff. Now, don't go in the North Stand, said my mum, but soon I did. Kit Napier's corner curled into the net. Oh God, the Bournemouth boot boys, better run. Then Villa in the big crunch game. A 30,000 crowd, Bald Lockhead scored, but we still won the day. Then up and straight back down again. Brian Powney, brave and squat. T-Rex, DMs and scarf on wrist, okay? And then the world was wonderful. Punk rock and Peter Ward, with sidekicks Spider Mellor, Tall and Lee. The legendary Walsall game, promotion, riding high. Southampton Spurs, that stitch-up was obscene. The final glorious victory. Division 1 at last. Arsenal, first game. Its fevered expectation. Those Highbury gods tore us to shreds. We learned our lesson well. Steve Foster was our soul and inspiration. Man City came, and Jerry Ryan waltzed through them to score. And mighty Man United bit the dust. Notts Forest, and that Williams screamer nearly broke the net. The Norwich quarter-final, win or bust. And after Wembley, Liverpool were toppled one last time. The final curtain on those happy days. And then the years of gradual, inexorable decline. Sadly for some, the parting of the ways. But we stayed true. As glory days turned into donkey's years. Young, Trusson, Tiltman, Farrington, Eeyore. A Wilkins free kick nearly brought us hope. It was not to be. The rot was deep and spreading to the core. We found our voice and Lloyd was gone. Hooray, but worse to come. But just how awful we were yet to know. Dissent turned to rebellion and then to open war. As on the terrace, weeds began to grow. The Goldstone sold behind our backs. Enraged, we rose as one against a stony northern businessman. We drew a line and said, enough! And as the nation watched, the final battle for our club began. We fought him to a standstill, fans united, all for one. The nation's colours joined, a glorious sight. And finally, the stubborn, stony archer moved his ground and made way for our own collective night. The battle's only just begun, but we have won the war. Our club, though torn asunder, will survive. And I salute each one of you who stood up and said no, and fought to keep the Albion alive. And one day when our new home's built and we are storming back, a bunch of happy fans without a care, we look back on our darkest hour and raise our glasses high and say with satisfaction, we were there. But first we have to face today, the hardest day of all. Don't worry if you can't hold back the tears. We must look to the future in dignity and peace, as well as mourn a home of 90 years. For me, the Goldstone has an extra special memory of the football soulmate I so briefly had. He christened me John Charles and taught me to love the game. This one's for Bill, a poet, and my dad. And I wrote that in 1997 when we were bottom of the league, absolutely certain that we would come back, absolutely certain that the amazing support, the diversity of our support, the creativity and intelligence in our support would see us through, and that one day we would come storming back. I didn't have a clue that we would be exactly where we are right now, but what I will say is we absolutely bloody deserve it, and the sky is the limit, and there's no more teams like Brighton. So watch out, top six, we're on our way.